Hello students, I am Vinita Kumari, Digital Science from Kendriya Vidyalaya, Mashrak. I am here with you with a topic nutrition in animals of class 7th. Objective of these chapters are to understand about process of digestion in human being, identify various parts of human digestive system, understand about process of digestion in grass eating animals, feeding and digestion in amoeba. Let us talk about animal nutrition. Earlier in part 1 of this chapter, we discussed about nutrition and component of nutrition also. Now repeat it. Animal nutrition includes nutrient requirement, mode of intake of food and its utilization in the body. The first step of nutrition to get is digestion. Digestion is the breakdown of complex components of food into simple substances. Digestion includes several steps. These are ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and egestion. Let us talk about digestion in human. In human is a complex process. Food passes through a continuous canal which begins as a buccal cavity and ends at the anus. The canal can be divided into various components like buccal cavity, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, rectum, and anus. This is a diagram of human digestive system which is showing the various parts of human digestive system. Digestion in human start with the ingestion, or simply we can say with feeding of food. Whenever we put a food bowl in our mouth, digestion starts from there. Parts of digestive system in our mouths are teeth, tongue, and salivary glands. Further, a food pipe followed to take the food into the stomach where the further digestion of food take parts. With the help of several enzymes secreted by stomach itself, pancreas, liver. From stomach, food enters into small intestine where further digestion of food takes place and absorption of food also starts from there. In large intestine, absorption and assimilation of food takes place and egestion of food or fecal matter takes place through anus. Now let us talk about the parts of human digestive system. Firstly, the mouth and buccal cavity. As we all know, food is taken into the body through the mouth. The process of taking food into the mouth is called ingestion. We chew the food with the teeth and break it down mechanically into small pieces. Our teeth vary in appearance and performs different functions. Here we have a picture of different types of teeth. We have incisor, canine, premolar and molar. That means four types of permanent teeth which performs different functions. Incisor and canine helps in tearing the food material, and premolar and molar helps in chewing and breaking down the food in small pieces. If we try to see the arrangement of teeth in our mouth, we see here that we have how the incisor, canine, premolar and molar are arranged in our mouth. Now let us talk about the tongue. Tongue mixes saliva with the food during chewing and helps in swallowing food. Saliva comes from salivary gland situated on both sides of buccal cavity. It has or tongue has taste buds that detects different tastes of food. The saliva breaks down the starch into the sugar. Here we have the taste zone of our tongue. We feel sweet from the tip of the tongue, salty from the front side of the tongue, sour taste from the lateral back sides of the tongue, and bitter at the end of the tongue. Now the esophagus. Esophagus is also known as food pipe. The swallowed food passes into the food pipe or esophagus. Food is pushed down by movement of wall of the food pipe to the stomach. Stomach is the thick-walled bag-like structure. It receives food from food pipe at one end and opens into the small intestine at the others. The inner lining of stomach secretes mucus, hydrochloric acid, and digestive juices. The mucus protects the lining of stomach from the action of hydrochloric acid. The acid present in stomach kills bacteria that enters along with the food and make the medium acidic, which also helps in digestion. The digestive juices break down the protein into simpler substances. Now, the small intestine. The small intestine is highly coiled and about 7.5 meter long. It receives secretion from the liver and the pancreas. Besides, its walls also secrete juices. The small intestine is called small because the width of its pipe are small than the large intestine. The liver secretes bile juice that is stored in a sac called gallbladder. The bile helps to digest fats. The pancreatic juice acts on the carbohydrate, fats and protein and changes them into simpler forms. It means digestion of protein, fat and carbohydrate takes place in small intestine. Also, absorption of digested food takes place in small intestine. The digested food pass into the blood vessels in the wall of the intestine. This process is called absorption. The inner walls of a small intestine have thousands of finger-like outgrowth called villi. The villi increases the surface area for absorption of digested food. Each vellus is singular form of villi, has a network of thin and small blood vessels close to its surface. The surface of the villi absorbs the digested food materials. The absorbed substances are transported via blood vessels to different organs of the body where they are used to build complex substances such as the protein required by the body. This is called assimilation. The food then remains undigested and unabsorbed into the large intestine. Large intestine is wider and shorter than small intestine. It is about 1.5 meter in length. Its function is to absorb water and some salt from undigested food materials. The remaining waste into the rectum and remains there as semi-solid feces. The fecal material is removed through the anus from time to time. This is called egestion. We can understand this in better way through this video.
Human beings take food through mouth and digest it in specific organs for digestion. The undigested food is defecated. The food we take passes through a specific canal which begins with buccal cavity and ends at the anus. This canal is called alimentary canal or the digestive tract. The parts of the alimentary canal are buccal cavity, esophagus, stomach, large intestine, small intestine, rectum, and anus. The food gets digested gradually as it passes through the various parts of the tract. Digestive juices secreted by the salivary glands, liver, and pancreas also aid digestion. Mouth and the buccal cavity. Food intake in human beings is through mouth. This process of taking food is called ingestion. Chewing food is very necessary for proper digestion as digestion process starts in the mouth itself. What happens during chewing? The large pieces of food we eat are mechanically broken down into small pieces. Teeth helps us in doing so. Action of saliva on food. During chewing, food mixes with saliva. Saliva is secreted from salivary glands located on the lower jaw between the tongue and teeth. Saliva converts starch in the food into sugars and also softens the food. Tongue. Taste of food can be detected by the taste buds present on the tongue. Tongue is a fleshy muscular organ attached to the floor of the buccal cavity. It is free at the front and moves in all directions. Taste buds appear as small bumps on the tongue and have different regions which help us enjoy different tastes. Esophagus or food pipe. The swallowed food from the mouth passes onto the esophagus. The epiglottis, which is a flap-like structure behind the tongue, directs the food into the esophagus and prevents entry into the larynx. The peristaltic movements of the esophagus helps the food to move down the tract till it reaches the stomach. Stomach. Stomach is a bag-like structure with thick wall. It is in the shape of a flattened U and is the widest part in the alimentary canal. The food that enters the stomach is churned and mixes with the mucus. Hydrochloric acid and digestive juices secreted by the inner lining of the stomach. The acid helps to kill the bacteria present in the food. It also makes the medium in the stomach acidic. The digestive juices secreted by the stomach break down proteins into simpler substances. Then the food is emptied into small intestine. Small intestine. Small intestine is a highly coiled structure and is about 7.5 meters long. As soon as the small intestine receives food from the stomach, the digestive juices from liver and pancreas are mixed into it. Liver. Liver is the largest gland in the human body and is situated in the upper side of the abdomen. To the right, it is reddish brown in color. It secretes bile, which breaks down fats. Bile is stored in gallbladder between meals. Pancreas. Pancreas is a leaf-shaped and cream-colored gland located just below the stomach. It secretes pancreatic juice, which acts and breaks down carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. After this is completed, the partially digested food reaches the lower part of the small intestine, where intestinal juices act upon the food and completes digestion of any remaining components in food. The carbohydrates in the food break down into sugars like glucose, fats into fatty acids, and glycerol, and proteins into amino acids. The food consumed is digested and is now ready to be absorbed into the blood. Absorption of food in the small intestine. The inner wall of the small intestine has finger-like projections called villi, which have a network of thin blood vessels close to the surface. The villus increases the surface area of absorption and absorbs the digested food materials. The substances thus absorbed are transported through the bloodstream to different organs in the body and are used to build complex substances like proteins. This process is called assimilation. In the cells, glucose breaks down into carbon dioxide and water with the help of oxygen and releases energy. The undigested and unabsorbed food enters the large intestine. Large intestine. The large intestine is wider than small intestine and measures 1.5 meters in length. Once the undigested food enters the large intestine, it absorbs water and some salts from it and passes the remaining waste into the rectum. Here it remains as semi-solid fecus. The fecal matter is removed through the anus. This is called egestion.
Now we have some assessment question. First, match the following. Here we have column A and B. We have to match column A with the relevant answer of column B. Ingestion. We have to read the complete options from column B, the large intestine, mouth, and small intestine. Egestion is related to mouth and buccal cavity, so we can answer ingestion, mouth. Absorption of food takes place in small intestine, so we can match absorption with a small intestine, and finally the ingestion, the large intestine. Second, name the following. You have to answer all these five. In third, you have to draw a neat diagram of tongue and show the different taste regions on it. Fourth is the label the diagram of human digestive system. You have to do all these assessment questions in your notebook.